SuperTalk Mississippi media production. It's time to talk about dogs.
Bulldogs have won it.
Talkin Dawgs, that is, with Robbie Faulk, right here on SuperTalk 100.9.
Talkin Dawgs is on your radio on this beautiful Wednesday hump day here in Starkville, Mississippi. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk here on SuperTalk 100.9 in the Golden Triangle. This is Robbie Faulk, and I am happy to be here for another week with you on the radio or wherever you get your podcast, or if you're listening live on the supertalk.fm webpage, or maybe you're listening on the app. Thank you wherever you are around the country for listening to this. We've had great reception from Bulldog fans out there and for people that might be cheering for Ole Miss, I dare say. We actually have some Ole Miss listeners out there, they've told me. So I appreciate those people as well. Wherever you are, whoever you are, thank you for tuning in for another episode of Talkin Dawgs. And we finally have real football to talk about today. I'm going to talk a lot about Mississippi State in this episode. I'm going to talk a lot about high school football in this episode. We've had a nice reception in terms of the high school coverage. So I'm going to dig in a little deeper to high school coverage in this episode as well. I am happy to bring that to you. And man, did I have a ball game that I saw on Friday night over at Yellow Jacket Stadium. Plenty of that to come. But first, before we dive into high school sports, how about the Bulldogs? Game 1 of year 2 of the Jeff Lebby era, and I thought coming out of that ball game, it was about what I expected, and that's a good thing. It's what needed to happen for Mississippi State, I think. I don't know if you could learn anything from Mississippi State that's a super positive takeaway whenever you're playing Southern Miss in Game 1, and I don't mean that as a slight towards Southern Miss, but as I said earlier on in the week, on our podcast, Thunder and Lightning, that airs on the SuperTalk podcast feed. You go to Thunder and Lightning, you can find that anywhere you get your podcast. You can listen to that 5 days a week with myself and Brian Haydad. On that podcast, and I got some heat from some Southern Miss fans who were fairly quiet this week after that, I mentioned on there, and it was not a slight, the SEC and the Group of Five have distanced themselves greatly in the last few years. That doesn't mean that you don't have a situation like we saw with Toledo and Mississippi State last season. But in general, the funds that we're seeing that are getting spent in the SEC and those that are getting spent in the Sun Belt are greater than we've ever seen. The distance created between Mississippi State and Southern Miss in terms of the money that's coming in, just simply being in the SEC, it just is not on the same stratosphere. So this isn't 1990 anymore. This isn't Brett Favre and Reggie Collier walking through the door to take on Mississippi State. This isn't the 1980 season. Mississippi State and Southern Miss, even in Mississippi State's down years, they look like two entirely different programs. In 2023, Mississippi State handled Southern Miss fairly well right after firing Zach Arnett. And I know Southern Miss was within a touchdown late in that ball game, but that game wasn't seriously in doubt. On Saturday, we needed Mississippi State to come out of that ball game and for us to say that game was never really in doubt. And in the first half, it got a little shaky. I'm not going to lie. It got really shaky in that first half for the Bulldogs against Southern Miss. But they did what an SEC team should do against a Sun Belt team. By the second half, it looked like Mississippi State was the SEC team and Southern Miss was the Sun Belt team. And now I think Southern Miss is on an upward trajectory. I really love what Charles Huff is doing. He's injected some energy into that fan base and into that program that had been lost. They've been kind of walking around the wilderness the last few years. Now, they had a 7-win season a few years ago under Will Hall, but for the most part, this team, since Jay Hobson and really since Larry Fedora, has just really been struggling to find its footing. I think things are going in an upward trajectory for Southern Miss. I'll talk more about that when we come back from the break. And I'm really going to dive into what I saw in this ball game for Jeff Lebby's team. And we'll also talk about what needs to happen for Mississippi State to pull off a big top 12 win over Arizona State at Davis-Wade Stadium. It's shaping up to be a really, really exciting Saturday at Davis-Wade Stadium, and it's been a long time since we've seen that. We're going to talk more about that when I come back from the break. This is Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk on SuperTalk.fm.
At Bank Oklahoma, we treat our customers like neighbors, and usually they are. You're more than just an account number. At Bank Oklahoma, you have a name, a family, and hopes and dreams for your financial future. I'm Hunter Robertson at Bank Oklahoma in Bruce. We'd love to earn your business and help you reach your financial goals. Come see me or call 662-983-3700. Bank Oklahoma, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good Hope Land and Timber is a full-service land and timber company that offers years of experience in forestry and land management. Our services include timber and land purchasing, timber management, pine plantation thinning, and development harvesting. Our company has an experienced logging force that is trained according to the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Call me, Jake Moody, at 601-416-6266 or visit our website at g-hope.com for all your timber harvesting and land management needs.
For more than 80 years, Fort County Electric Power Association has been providing reliable, affordable electricity to our members. We've done it with honesty, integrity, and with a special emphasis on service, and it shows. Fort County members overwhelmingly say that our electric cooperative is a name they can always trust, and that trust isn't something you can buy. It has to be earned each and every day. We're proud of the men and women of Fort County who work hard to earn our members' trust, and we're proud to serve our member owners.
Hey, this is William Wells. When you drop your vehicle off with us, you can trust us with our ASC certified technician. We'll take care of everything you need. Brakes, struts, shocks, alignments, check engine light, tune-up, tire sensor, tires, everything. Stop by any of our 3 locations in Starkville, West Point, and Columbus, and let our team give you the championship service you deserve.
Hello, I'm Lee Burrell, proudly serving Tillamook County. The Citizens Bank has been serving our community for over 116 years, and I'm proud to be part of this vital community bank. With over 22 years of financial experience in commercial, mortgage, and consumer lending, I'm here to help with all your loan and deposit needs. Call me at 662-323-1420 or stop by my office located at 201 Highway 12 and say hello. I'm looking forward to meeting and talking with you soon. The Citizens Bank, www.thecitizensvilla.com, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to Talkin Dawgs on SuperTalk 100.9.
Welcome back to Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk here on SuperTalk 100.9 and SuperTalk.fm and wherever you get your podcasts. I appreciate you guys for tuning in once again here for the show. We have had a great run. I'm nearly a month now on this show. I'm loving it. I'm super appreciative to have this opportunity to be here on SuperTalk, and I appreciate everybody that's made it happen. I also appreciate our sponsor, the guy that is powering this show each and every week. I hope that you have reached out to him if you've been searching for an insurance company to call home. That's Jess Brantley at Alpha Insurance over there in West Point, and I cannot tell you how important these insurance agents are for us in this society when there's so many risks that we have. We get on the road, or we have the storm damage that's going to come in the South that we get, whether it be through an ice storm that might come once a year, the tornado weather that we have that just pops up out of nowhere, maybe even extreme heat causing issues at your house. Alpha Insurance and Jess Brantley is going to be there for you through it all. Even when you have a death in your family and you're searching for that, the way to take care of business in that regard in such a tough time, Jess is going to be there for you. Life insurance, homeowners insurance, car insurance, whatever you have, he will take care of it, and his team over there at the Alpha Insurance Agency over in West Point. Go see him today, learn how to save, and go with someone who cares. That's Alpha Insurance, Jess Brantley over there on 36 South 4th Street in West Point, or you can call him at 662-494-4142. Thank you, Jess, for powering Talkin Dawgs each and every week here on Super Talk. All right, so let's dig into this a little bit. Mississippi State and Southern. I told you last week I had absolutely no idea what to expect in this game. I came into this ball game, I felt like Mississippi State was going to be the better team. I felt like they were going to be a deeper team, a more talented team. But I did not know what the execution was going to be like. We still have some questions and some concerns about the coaching for this team after what we saw last year, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So what did we truly expect coming to this game? I picked pregame. If you go back to our Maroon and White Daily front page over there, you can go read our predictions, myself and Paul Jones. By the way, if you have not joined us at Maroon and White Daily, what are you doing, guys? Come check us out. $1 for the first week. Last week, our site was top 10 in traffic on the entire network. And On3, by the way, it's got a rocket strapped to it. It's going to the moon. Chris Lowe had an incredible article on Monday, or on Tuesday rather, about Mississippi State trying to dig themselves out of this hole that's been kind of dug since the Mike Leach era. You can go read that with an On3 subscription. That's the kind of stuff that you're going to get when you sign up for On3, so come check us out at Maroon and White Daily. But my prediction coming into the ball game was 34-17. And I'm not Nostradamus. I'm wrong often, by the way. But this is exactly how I saw this game playing out. Mississippi State kind of is in a dogfight in the first half. I thought that was going to happen. And then in the second half, I thought they would pull away. And that's exactly what happened. State scored 24 consecutive points before Southern Miss was able to get a touchdown late in the game and make for the 34-17 mark. So let's talk about it a little bit. Did this game live up to your expectations? Were you expecting more? I think there was a lot of meat left on the bone for Mississippi State, but that's okay. I didn't think that this thing had to have been a perfect ball game. Now, you can play a game like this against Southern Miss and win comfortably. You cannot do that this weekend against Arizona State. There's no way Mississippi State can win this ball game on Saturday against Arizona State with what they did in terms of penalties. The penalties were just downright bad, and Jeff Lebby has said that that's unacceptable. They've got to completely take it out of their game, especially the pre-snap penalties. This team had 14 penalties for 119 yards. Imagine if you cut that in half. That's still a hefty amount of penalties. 7 penalties at that point for 60-plus yards. That's a lot of penalties. Cut that in half. Mississippi State wins this game by, what, maybe 4 or 5 touchdowns? I mean, they had 2 penalties that wiped out touchdowns that really were completely non-essential in the play. The first one was a lineman lined up off the ball. That turned into a touchdown. It had nothing to do with the play. It didn't affect Mississippi State's ability to go score a touchdown. That's a penalty that shouldn't have happened. The next one was a 4th down play call where Kamario Taylor comes into the ball game. He runs it in the end zone. They call holding on Cam Ball. That holding had nothing to do with Kamario Taylor getting in the end zone. He was going to score. You just wiped out 2 touchdowns. You went from 14 points to 6 there. State did score on those drives, but 14 points to 6. That's the difference in, Mississippi State at that point would have had 42 points in the game, and there's no telling how the game would have transpired from that point. They would have been up, that first touchdown, they would have been up 14-3. And, had the game played out the same way, the State would have been up 17-10 at the half, so 13-10. So, I don't know. I think that if State plays a much cleaner ball game, this one wasn't even a game in the first half. It was all about what State was doing and not so much Southern Miss. Now, Southern Miss had some good moments in this game, but it was clear that Mississippi State was controlling the ball game by the time they really kind of got out of the locker room and got their heads on straight. It was clear the difference in talent. Blake Shapen was 26 of 34 for 270 yards and a touchdown. He had an interception. That was probably the only big mistake I saw from Blake Shapen in this game. And he explained that interception on Monday that it was kind of a miscommunication or something with the receiver. He had a play on a route on the outside, and I think the receiver was running something differently than what he expected, and I don't want to say panicked, but he just looked over to say to Traore, threw the ball up the seam, and it was intercepted. Hats off to the defense on that possession for being able to come up with a 3-and-out there, especially the cornerbacks, Diego Broomfield and Kelly Jones with 2 pass breakups. You have a 3-and-out right there, and you hold them to 3 points. I thought that was big. And that really showed the maturity of this defense and the maturation that it's taken from last season. And let's talk about the defense real quick. So the defense in this game, they give up 301 yards of total offense. I think it was something around 100 yards in the fourth quarter whenever you have their third and fourth string defense in facing the first team offense. And it was essentially, a mixture of, Marshall players, and we saw a Mississippi State player in there and Jeffrey Pittman. Like, that's the Sun Belt champions in a lot of ways that Mississippi State went up against on Saturday. Head coaches from Marshall won the Sun Belt championship last year. Defensive coordinators from Marshall. This isn't the 1-11 Southern Miss team that Mississippi State played. This is a much more talented team. There's still a team that I think is not comparable to SEC talent, but it's a much, much more talented team. Braylon Braxton, who is the preseason Sun Belt Player of the Year, 26 of 39 for 199 yards. I thought State really bottled him up fairly well. He wasn't able to get out and do a whole lot of running. He had 12 carries for 58 yards, 4.5 yards a rush. I thought State handled that situation really well. And look at what the rest of their running game did. Jeffrey Pittman, 9 carries for 16 yards. Matt Jones, former Ole Miss player, 5 carries for 11 yards. 2 SEC players held to about 2 yards a rush. Heck of a job by Mississippi State defensively. And it is Southern Miss, but Mississippi State didn't do this against anyone last year. 2 yards a rush from the running game. They didn't do that against anybody. You saw it. Pro Football Focus had Mississippi State's defense ranked the 4th best defense as far as the grades are concerned in the FBS this week. 2nd best coverage. Had an interception from Brian Lanier. They had 4 pass breakups from their cornerbacks. This is exactly what needed to happen for Mississippi State to show that progress. And on the ground, they rushed for almost 5 yards a rush. The running game can be better. There were some issues up front by this offensive line. They have got to be a lot better on the offensive line. Jimothy Lewis was at left tackle. Albert Reese actually started at left tackle, but Jimothy Lewis had, I think, 70 snaps in this game. So it looks like Jimothy Lewis, the redshirt freshman, is going to be your left tackle, but he has got to play cleaner. They've got to have a more concise unit up front. Blake Steen was not great at right tackle, but the second half, when Albert Reese went in at right and Jimothy Lewis was at left, I thought that offensive line looked a lot more gelled. And the interior of it, I thought, was really good in this ball game, by the way. I thought Cannon Boone handled things well at the center position. Jacoby Jackson at left guard, Zach Owens at right guard. I thought everybody in the middle was solid in this game. So it's got to be better. It's got to be cleaner for this team. But I thought this was a tremendous step in the right direction for Mississippi State to get a win, get in the win column, and now you set up a huge, huge game on Saturday. And we'll talk briefly about that when we come back from the break, and we'll dig into some high school football when we get back here on Talkin Dawgs on SuperTalk 100.9 and SuperTalk.fm.
When you're a Yellow Jacket, school spirit isn't just for game day, it's every day. That's why the Citizens Bank created the School Stash Debit Card for Starkville-Oktibbeha schools. With every transaction, select credit instead of debit, and we'll donate 5 cents to the district. It's an easy way to show your pride and support local schools with every purchase. Stop by 201 Highway 12 and get your School Stash Debit Card today. The Citizens Bank, in your corner every day. Member FDIC.
A lot of land comes with a lot of work. The new Kubota MX Series has a lot to offer, including the versatility to mow, move hay bales, grade roads, and clear brush and snow. An optional spacious cab to keep you comfortable in any conditions. A front-end loader with excellent loader lift capacity and transmission options. Visit your local Kubota dealer today.
Visit H&R AgriPower, your local Kubota dealer at 841 South Frontage Road in Columbus. H&R AgriPower has the power to get you more.
At 4 County Electric Power Association, we're always trying to find ways to make life better for our member owners. From offering expert advice on how to use less power and save money, to on-bill financing for energy efficiency improvements in HVAC, to showing the benefits and practical uses of our new all-electric vehicle, we work to earn our members' trust through honesty, integrity, and service. 4 County Electric Power, improving the lives of all we touch.
Looking to get the most out of your land? Trust the experts at Good Hope Land and Timber, your full-service land and timber company with years of experience in forestry and land management. From land and timber purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting, our team handles it all, safely, efficiently, and sustainably. Our experienced logging force is trained to the highest standards under the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Call me, Jake Moody, at 601-416-6266. Good Hope Land and Timber, locally trusted, landowner approved.
Find a friend in the banking business at Bank Oklahoma and take that friend with you using Bank Oklahoma mobile banking. Manage your accounts, make deposits, payments, and transfers anywhere and anytime. Bank Oklahoma offers small town feel with big city convenience and the personalized attention you deserve. I'm Joy Faulkner at Bank Oklahoma. Better together, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Talkin Dawgs on SuperTalk 100.9.
Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk is back on the radio, and I thank you guys for tuning in on another Wednesday. We are over the hump. Even if this Wednesday just started, I'm going to go ahead and say we're over the hump. What the heck? Everybody's excited for Saturday. Everybody's excited for Friday night football coming up this week. Let's just go ahead and start celebrating now. Let's go. Robbie Faulk here along with you from On3 Sports, Starkville Daily News, Thunder and Lightning Podcast. I do a few local newspapers as well, Winston County Journal, Webster Progress. Man, I might as well throw another thing on the plate, and that's this radio show here, Talkin Dawgs, and I thank you guys for checking in with me again. Real quick, just kind of wrapping up a little bit of this game for Mississippi State. I talked about the offensive line. I thought that was the biggest unit that needs to take a step from week 1 to week 2. They've got to play cleaner there. The 14 penalties by the team in this game was just egregious, and a lot of that was from the offensive line. Pre-snap penalties, maybe a holding call, misalignments, illegal procedures. They've got to be better. You've got to cut this penalty business out. And Jeff Lebby said as much on Monday that, the pre-snap stuff has got to be completely eradicated. They can't have the pre-snap issues at all. That they can't have the players lining up, off the ball and things like that. That stuff has got to go away. And then the other stuff they got to really clean up, the blocking, the holding penalties that they had from the wide receivers, things like that. But it's nice to be able to do that after a win. There was a ton of stuff to take away from this that's good for Mississippi State. Kyle Ferry set the school record with a 55-yard field goal. And he said on Monday he feels like he can make anywhere from inside 60. And 60 might be, the spot where he feels is probably his max distance. That's pretty strong, though. 55-yarder broke a 40-year-old record set by Artie Cosby, the great kicker in the mid-1980s. He hit that one against Memphis, a game winner back in 1985. That has stood for 40 years, and Cal Ferry broke it and calmly did it, by the way. I had no idea that was a school record, and he just absolutely nailed it. I mean, it went right on through. And we have not seen a kicking game at Mississippi State in a while where you just felt super confident. I think you can feel confident in Cal Ferry. He's a different cat. He wants the ball. He wants the ball in those big moments, so good for him. Thought we saw some good things from the wide receivers. That group needs to be better, but I thought we saw some good things. Brendan Thompson, 7 catches for 92 yards. Had a touchdown wiped out on a play where Anthony Evans was holding. Seti Traore had a 55-yard touchdown on the 6th play of the ball game, first possession. So I like to see that group continue to mature. The running backs had some really good moments. I want to see more from Davon Booth and Fluff Bothwell. They had 26 carries combined, but I think Fluff Bothwell needs 18 to 20. I think Davon Booth needs 18 to 20 carries. That's a two-headed monster that you could do a lot with, and then Johnny Daniels in there too. Those guys by the fourth quarter, they could really start wearing a team down. I'm interested to see if they try to do that a little more this week, going up against an Arizona State defensive line that's a veteran group. There's a lot of guys returning from Arizona State this year on both sides of the ball. And this is such a big game. You've already had a sound bite come out. Kenny Dillingham's already needled Starkville a little bit, talking about the lack of hotels here and the lack of options for his players to eat. You got a fan base right now that's rabid, man, and I love it. Mississippi State fans have not been excited about football since the Mike Leach era, and now it really feels like there's some juice in this fan base. They're just dying for something good to happen. Jeff Lebby and his team can deliver it this weekend. We'll see if they do just that. All right, let's move on into a little bit of high school football talk with a little Starkville Daily. I like to call this a Starkville Daily whip around. I'm a Starkville Daily high school beat writer. I cover Starkville High School and the surrounding schools that we have in our area, Starkville Academy, East Webster, Choctaw County, Eupora. We also cover West Point with the Daily Times Leader as well, who got a massive win against Louisville. 9-7, got a field goal to win it. And now it's West Point Starkville week, folks. And everybody listening in this area, they know all about that. There's been some absolute barn burners, some great players, some great teams come out of West Point and Starkville, and a whole lot of championships. We're now over 20 combined championships, I believe, between those two schools. They're meeting at Hamlin Stadium this week. I'll be there. I'm excited to be there. This week, the first week, week 1, last Friday, I was on the live stream. It was my first live stream experience at Starkville with Jay Perry. Jay Perry was on the call on the play-by-play. I did color with him. We had an absolute blast. I thought the presentation was really good. Jeremy Brown and his kids over there, that I think he's doing a great job with that group of students at Starkville. It's something that I wish I could have done whenever I was a student. Have a class like that where you're learning about digital media and camera work and podcast. Now, obviously, a lot of that was not around whenever I was in school. But when I was coming up, I got my start in high school actually broadcasting with my dad. My dad was doing play-by-play for Winston Academy football. I grew up around that, and I got a chance to start broadcasting when I was a sophomore in high school, and that's where I really developed my love for broadcasting, and that went on to become writing. That's where it all started for me. So getting a chance to do that this week, I've been broadcasting now for about 20 years, off and on. That was amazing to get a chance to do that. But to get a chance to do it in this game, I don't know if I could have expected the game to play out the way that it did. It was the craziest game that I believe I have witnessed in high school, that I have actually sat there and covered. This might have been the craziest game. And by the way, let's just cut to the chase. It was 57-54 was the final score in this ball game. Starkville won it. And the final play was the final score, 57-54. It was a touchdown from Greg Knox's son, Torian Knox. You guys know him. Greg Knox, interim head coach at Mississippi State twice under Dan Mullen, and then after Zach Arnett was fired, he was a running backs coach at Mississippi State as well for a long time under Dan Mullen. He came back to Starkville to be a part of this staff, and he's helping lead a lot of things off the field, doing an excellent job. But his son, Torian, was the hero of this thing. And it was incredible. With 1 second left, Starkville gets a chance to run one final play. They toss it to Torian Knox. I thought it was a great play call by John Carter. Defense was looking for a run up the middle, and instead they went with the toss. Torian Knox cut it up, scored a touchdown. Just incredible. This was a 6-3 ball game after the first quarter. We saw 20 points for each team in the second quarter. We saw 21-14 third quarter for Starkville, and then a 14-13 fourth quarter for Oak Grove. It was a back-and-forth affair. In the second half, until late in the fourth quarter, neither team could get a stop. It was wild. And I thought these two quarterbacks were just unbelievable. Kellen Hall at Oak Grove, he was 22 for 33 for 446 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's right. Kendrell Roberts, his wide receiver, 7 catches, 171 yards, 3 TDs. They had 3 guys with over 100 yards receiving. Chevelle Williams had 7 for 121 and a touchdown, and Micah Caraway had 5 for 124 and a touchdown. On the other side of it, the debut of Kingston Johnson, I don't know if there's ever been a debut like this at Starkville. I'm going to say no. This guy had quite possibly the greatest debut for a player in Starkville High School history. It was a little sluggish start for him. You could tell he was a little rusty. Kellen Hall's been playing with these receivers and these running backs and offensive linemen now for over a year. Kingston Johnson was in his first game. 23 for 37, had an interception in the game. 486 passing yards. That was a school record. He was about to be if not for a penalty, he might have been the all-time, or he would have been the first player ever to go for 500. 4 touchdowns passing. Then on the ground, he just went and rushed 16 times for 92 yards and 2 more scores. This kid is an electric factory. I told you last week to watch out for this kid, did I not? I told you to watch out for this kid. He's different. He's going to do something special. And in game 1, he had over 500 yards of total offense and 6 touchdowns. Look out. Kingston Johnson is a stud. He's the real deal. And this Starkville team's a lot of fun, too. Braylon Jenkins with 6 catches for 134 yards and a touchdown. Davis Harrelson was 5 catches, 76 yards. He had a huge 4th down conversion in that second quarter on a 37-yard touchdown. Torian Knox, 3 catches, 79 yards. Phillip Swan, the tight end, he is going to be a big part of this offense, too. 3 catches for 77 yards. It was a fantastic game. I thought Torian Knox was outstanding with 25 rushes, 137 yards. Didn't have a single play where he didn't get a positive gain, and he scored 2 touchdowns, including the game winner. How about that for a game? I got more high school football coming your way after the break. This is Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk on SuperTalk 100.9.
Bank Okolona is committed to the communities we serve. We offer the small town feel with big city convenience and give you the personalized attention you deserve. Come see me, Gene Childs, Community Bank President in Houston and Manatee. We have locations in Aberdeen, Bruce, Houston, Manatee, Okolona, and Tupelo. Bank Okolona, where we are better together. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Landowners, are you ready to turn your timber into real value? At Good Hope Land and Timber, we specialize in helping landowners like you make smart, sustainable decisions. Whether you're planting a final harvest, thinning a stand, development thinning, or managing your forest long-term, our experienced team is here to guide you every step of the way. We're trained in the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and follow best management practices to protect your land and maximize your return. Call me, Jake Moody, at 601-416-6266. Good Hope Land and Timber, locally trusted, landowner approved.
Hey, this is William Wells. When you drop your vehicle off with us, you can trust us with our ASC certified technician. We'll take care of everything you need. Brakes, struts, shocks, alignments, check engine light, tune-up, tire sensor, tires, everything. Stop by any of our 3 locations in Starkville, West Point, and Columbus, and let our team give you the championship service you deserve.
Cover more ground and get more savings on the fast, durable Kubota Sidekick. Gas-powered with a top speed of 40 miles per hour and outstanding acceleration and handling with cargo. All backed by a 2-year, 1,000-hour warranty. Visit your Kubota dealer and get the Kubota Sidekick for 0 down, 2.99% APR for up to 48 months and save up to $300. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit H&R AgriPower, your local Kubota dealer at 841 South Frontage Road in Columbus. H&R AgriPower has the power to get you more.
Hello, I'm Lee Burrell, proudly serving Tibahaw County. The Citizens Bank has been serving our community for over 116 years, and I'm proud to be part of this vital community bank. With over 22 years of financial experience in commercial, mortgage, and consumer lending, I'm here to help with all your loan and deposit needs. Call me at 662-323-1420 or stop by my office located at 201 Highway 12 and say hello. I'm looking forward to meeting and talking with you soon. The Citizens Bank, www.thecitizensvilla.com, member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk on SuperTalk 100.9.
Talkin Dawgs back on the air, here for another segment. Thank you guys wherever you are for tuning in to this show. I appreciate you. Sponsored by Jess Brantley and Alpha Insurance. So thankful for Jess, thankful for his friendship, but most importantly, I'm thankful for Alpha and for him for all the service that they bring us, and the savings that you will get with Alpha is next level. I wanted to go with Alpha anyway whenever I was looking for homeowners insurance because I just wanted to be with people that I knew. But I tested it out. You know, the money part of it is important. I want to be able to budget. I want to be able to have, you know, the right money in place to take care of everything that I have to take care of in my family. And they beat that. So not only did I have savings, I had the great service that you get with Jess Brantley. Go find them at South Forest Street in West Point, 36 South Forest Street, right off the main strip there in West Point, or you can call them at 662-494-4142 and start saving today with Alpha. All right, so I talked before the break about Starkville and Oak Grove and what a game it was. Just an unbelievable atmosphere, the LED lights, the new video board, the new turf. We got the live stream going. We had, you know, new music. We had a new attitude over there in Starkville with John Carr. That offense was unbelievable. Over 700 yards of offense. What a debut for John Carr. So I wanted you guys to hear from John Carr and Kingston Johnson. I got a clip for you guys to listen to here. I talked to John. I talked to Kingston after the game about that exciting ball game just minutes after Torian Knox was able to score the game-winning touchdown. And I got their thoughts on what they saw in the ball game, the debut for both of them, and how special it was. Here's John Carr and Kingston Johnson speaking on their win over Oak Grove.
Kingston, you went with a toss right there to Torian, and he just put his head down and made the play for you. I mean, what was the conversation like before that?
Well, he's a gritty competitor, and the way that he had, you know, you look at as a coach, you say, who's got the hot hand? And Torian made, when it came to it, he was the one that made some great plays tonight, and dive and catch over there, and big run, screen pass. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure if we went down, it was giving it to the guy who had a hot night, and he's got great resiliency, toughness, and found a way to get in.
You've been in those games before. You were in a 65-62 game last year with Brandon, and games where, you know, the defenses just can't seem to get off the field. You have to keep putting the pedal down offensively, and your guys did that. I mean, what did you think of how the offense was executed tonight?
Well, I thought we were choppy at times, but again, we're going to live on chunk plays. I mean, we got some explosive guys that can eat up yardage, and we've got a quarterback that can utilize his legs and make things happen. So we're going to continue trying to do that. And again, we knew that we were going to play an offensive football team in Oak Grove with Kellen Hall and the skill guys they've got, that we were going to have to score a lot of points. Now, I didn't know we were going to score this many, but I knew that we were going to have to score some points. And when football's the ultimate team game, and what a stop our defense made at the end there to give us a chance to get the ball back. So anyway, it was a great team win, and hopefully the fans got their money's worth.
We talked a lot about Kingston, and there was a little unknown about how he would handle coming in here and taking over this offense. You put a lot on him to be able to make those decisions in the RPO and some of the decisions that he made pre-snap and things like that. I mean, game one, he breaks the school record for passing.
Oh, did he really?
What can you say about a kid to come in, first-year head coach with you, to do what he did tonight?
I tell you, well, the thing is, he not only is he a competitor, but he's got, he's a great processor. He learned the offense fast. He camaraderie with the teammates and the players. And again, he's fit in extremely well. And I tip my hat to him, because that's not easy. It's not easy for a guy to come in from another school, move in, make friends, and do all that. But he is the ultimate pro. He got great maturity, and big part of what we were able to do tonight.
You come into a place where the expectations are so high, but then you add in, you got the video board, the LED lights, and turf. Like, there's just a lot of pressure on you tonight. Could you have asked for a better night?
No, this is great environment, but there's no pressure. I mean, no pressure on these players. You know, I know what I'm going to get judged on, but these players, what I was proud of them is they were able to embrace the big moment when we needed to make big plays. Guys stepped up, and we had a lot of guys grow up tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's sitting here with Kingston Johnson. You come in from the state of Louisiana. It looks like you've been here forever, the way that you ran things tonight. I mean, your offense comes out here and puts up 57 on a team that 2 years ago won the state championship. I mean, what can you say about tonight, your first night as a Yellow Jacket, and the job that y'all were able to do?
Man, it's an amazing experience. There's nothing like it. Playing with these boys, I love each and every one of them. They put their heart in the field tonight, and it showed. We put work in every week consistently, and it showed tonight. We came out here and we dominated what we were supposed to do. It was a really good win to start the season. Really good win.
You had just missed a spectacular play on the possession before that last possession. You scrambled. You somehow kept your footing. Fired it. You had a guy there and just couldn't come through with it. You had a very similar play on that 4th and 17 to keep the drive alive or to hit Torian for the big play. Walk me through that play right there to convert that fourth down and keep the drive alive. And how did you feel rejuvenated after that?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely just became football, backyard football. I found the open man. I got out the pocket and just found what I could do and found him and threw it to him. He was wide open. He made a heck of a play getting down the field for us, and we went from there.
It seemed like you guys, as the game went on, like the connection started to get greater, the chemistry maybe a little bit. Did you feel that after the first quarter things started really settling in?
Oh, yeah. It was just pregame jitters, man. Everybody was nervous. First game, big game, everybody been talking about it. Everybody was just nervous. We had to get settled in. Once we got settled in, we just kept rolling.
Game 1, you broke the school record in passing. I don't know if you knew that. You were close to getting 500, first player ever.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you to come in here and see kind of the fruits of your labor in Game 1 like that?
Man, it's humbling just to see the grace of God, man. He moved me out here, and obviously he has a big plan for me. So coming out here and him showing me that I can do more than I even thought I could do, it's just amazing to be able to come out here and play with these boys and do stuff like that with these boys.
I don't know if you know this yet, but next week's going to be a completely different kind of game.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's a team that's going to be a lot different than what you see. But what do you know about that rivalry and what you're going to see next week?
Man, from what I've heard, ever since I've been up here, it's been Louisville, West Point. That's the two big games. And we're coming out. We know it's a rivalry game. We're going to come out and treat it like every other week. We're going to come out, try to go 1-0 again, and just come out and win another big game and just keep moving.
Big thank you to Coach Carr and to Kingston for talking to me after the game. And, man, what a ball game that was. What a performance from Kingston Johnson, and a well-called game, too, from John Carr. I was super impressed with just the way that game was called by John Carr and Tyler Peterson, the offensive coordinator. And, on the other side of that, you talk about the defenses. And I saw new defensive coordinator Jamario Winters after the game in the field house whenever I was finishing up my work, and I've gotten to know Jamario pretty well. He was the defensive coordinator at Choctaw County last year. Great guy and just a fantastic coach, and I could see it in his face just how disgusted he was for giving up 54 points. But you're going to have games like that. And it's like I told him, man, that's a pretty daggum good quarterback on the other side that you're having to defend. I thought that for the most part, they were in position, especially in the run game. They defended it fairly well. It was one of those games where you just, both teams were on a heater offensively and the other defenses were on skates. Oak Grove's defensive coordinator had a tough film study as well, I'm sure. You're talking about 50 combined first downs in this game. You had, well over 1,200 yards of offense between the two teams, over 100 points. There's not a defensive coordinator in the country that's going to be happy with that, even getting the win. So I can understand the frustrations from Jamario, but I can promise you nobody has worked harder this week to get his unit right like Jamario Winters. Student of the game, he is going to get the Starkville defense on track. And this is still a very young defense too, folks. I mean, this is a young Starkville team as a whole. There's not a ton of upperclassmen. So I coming away from that, it's just like I said with Mississippi State. You would much rather get into that film room this week after a win. And Oak Grove, Drew Causey and company, great coaching staff over there. They're absolutely sick after that game because there's, one play was the difference. They can find that one play in the midst of 20 plays. And so that's what they're trying to fix this week. But Starkville gets to fix their issues with a win. And they move to 1-0. There's a lot of questions coming into this year about what this looks like with John Carr at the helm. And from the start, I have been super impressed with who John Carr is, how he handles himself, how he wants to run his program. Really impressed with the offense, how quickly it runs and how efficiently. And I'm impressed with his kids. I think these kids are great kids. They play the game the right way, and they really represented Starkville in a big way. Oak Grove did too. I was impressed with both sides in this game. It was really a shame that one of these teams had to lose. And I say that a lot of times, but it really was. So shout out to Starkville, shout out to Oak Grove. I think both those guys are going to be competing for a state championship this year. Now moving on to this week for Starkville. Starkville and West Point going head-to-head in West Point. We've seen some crazy games between these two teams over the years, and I'm sure this one will not be any different. I told Kingston after the game, this game is not what you should expect next week. And he's already been smartened up to what to expect with West Point. It's going to be a completely different game, folks. It was 9-7 at Louisville, and West Point scored on, I think, the first possession of the game. Louisville scored late in the first quarter, and then they didn't score again, neither team, until late in the game. That was just classic Louisville West Point football. This game is going to be very similar, I think. I think the two defenses are going to rise to the occasion, but I do think Starkville's offense, being what it is going to be very difficult for West Point. If West Point cannot corral that early and take control of the game and do it their way, they're going to be in trouble in this game. I think my expectations for Starkville have changed a little bit. I think this team is capable of competing at a very high level in 7A this year, and this is a big game on Friday. It'll tell us a lot. I think it's just like the Starkville Oak Grove game, though. You come away from this and you get better from it. It's not going to dictate the rest of the season for either team. So fun will come, and if you're in town for the game on Saturday, if you're there Friday night, come over to West Point and watch this one. It's going to be fun. Jay Perry, I think Craig Reed is going to be on the call with Jay this week at West Point. I'll probably be on the sidelines, or I might be in the press box somewhere, but I believe Craig Reed's going to be on there with Jay. And go check out that broadcast this week. Excellent job by Starkville High School. All right, guys, when we get back, we'll be closing this show down and wrapping it up. This is Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk on SuperTalk 100.9.
A lot of land comes with a lot of work. The new Kubota MX Series has a lot to offer, including the versatility to mow, move hay bales, grade roads, and clear brush and snow. An optional spacious cab to keep you comfortable in any conditions. A front-end loader with excellent loader lift capacity and transmission options. Visit your local Kubota dealer today.
Visit H&R AgriPower, your local Kubota dealer at 841 South Frontage Road in Columbus. H&R AgriPower has the power to get you more.
At Fort County Electric Power Association, we're always trying to find ways to make life better for our member owners. From offering expert advice on how to use less power and save money, to on-bill financing for energy efficiency improvements in HVAC, to showing the benefits and practical uses of our new all-electric vehicle, we work to earn our members' trust through honesty, integrity, and service. Fort County Electric Power, improving the lives of all we touch.
Hey, this is William Wells. When you drop your vehicle off with us, you can trust us with our ASC certified technician. We'll take care of everything you need. Brakes, struts, shocks, alignments, check engine light, tune-up, tire sensor, tires, everything. Stop by any of our 3 locations in Starkville, West Point, and Columbus, and let our team give you the championship service you deserve.
Looking to get the most out of your land? Trust the experts at Good Hope Land and Timber, your full-service land and timber company with years of experience in forestry and land management. From land and timber purchasing, timber management, plantation thinning, and development harvesting, our team handles it all, safely, efficiently, and sustainably. Our experienced logging force is trained to the highest standards under the Sustainable Forestry Initiative and best management practices. Call me, Jake Moody, at 601-416-6266. Good Hope Land and Timber, locally trusted, landowner approved.
Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk on SuperTalk 100.9.
Welcome back to Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk, SuperTalk 100.9. We are closing out another great show here on the radio, and I appreciate you guys for being along for the ride. If you missed any of it, remember you can go back and listen to it on demand on the supertalk.fm website. On YouTube, we have the show going up on YouTube on SuperTalk. And also, we have our own podcast feed. So if you go type in Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk, you might be able to type in Talkin Dawgs, I'm not sure. But go type that in on the podcast feed, wherever you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever, and it will pop up. Subscribe to it. Give me a 5-star rating. I would really appreciate that. I had a hater the other day give me a 1-star. And I promise you that person is likely still listening to this show. So I appreciate that listen. But go check me out on the Apple Podcast. And don't forget to download, if you haven't already, the Thunder and Lightning Podcast, where you can get Mississippi State sports every single day throughout the week, Monday through Friday, myself and Brian Haydad. Huge game this weekend at Davis Wade Stadium. Mississippi State, Arizona State, blackout. Fans are asked to wear black for this game on ESPN2. This is Jeff Lebby's opportunity here to show that Mississippi State has really taken a giant step. The narrative around Mississippi State could change tremendously this week. I don't even think that we should understate it at this point. I don't think that we should underplay the importance of this ball game. Jeff Lebby has not had a marquee win as the head coach at Mississippi State yet. His 3 wins as head coach have been Eastern Kentucky, UMass, and Southern Miss. He hasn't beaten anybody that should get this fan base excited yet. This week is the opportunity for him to show the country that Mississippi State is taking that step. And I said he hasn't beaten anybody to get the fan base excited. He hasn't. Mississippi State had a 5-win season in 2023. They won 2 games last year. This fan base should be in the dumps. But I give this fan base all the credit in the world for waking up on Sunday morning, and really on Saturday, and saying, you know what, let's go win a daggum game. Let's get to the stadium next week and pack it out. Let's bring some excitement back to this fan base. Let's get Mississippi State back on the map. We're tired of being down. And that's what I appreciate about Mississippi State fans right now. There is a sense of urgency to move forward. When last year, it really felt like everybody was in a hole. But you've seen it. It kind of started with basketball, Chris Jans and Sam Purcell getting the programs back to the NCAA tournament, going and hiring a top 5 baseball coach, and just Zach Selman slamming his fist down and saying we are not going to be at the bottom of the SEC. In fundraising, in coaching, in players, in winning, we're going to win. We're going to win in everything. And this is the step that Mississippi State needs to take. They have got to do it this week as they host Arizona State, a team that made the playoff last year. That's a team that was in the dumps. Kenny Dillingham took them from 3 wins to the playoffs in 1 year. Cam Scatterbo is not back for that team this year. Rushed for nearly 300 yards against Mississippi State last year. That's a huge piece missing. But they got Sam Leavitt, who's one of the more promising quarterback prospects this season. It's going to be a tough ball game, but Mississippi State will have this fan base behind them. I believe there's going to be 50,000 plus. We'll see how full it is, but I think the atmosphere will be raucous at 6:30. Let's see what State can do. If they can win this ball game, they're staring at potentially 4-0 after 4 weeks with the SEC schedule starting. I think everybody in this fan base would absolutely love for that to be the case. So that's coming up this week. Get there, wear black, be loud, let's see what it looks like. Mississippi State fans are ready to win again. Let's see if they can do it this week. All right, guys, thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Talkin Dawgs. Robbie Faulk here. Appreciate you guys. Go follow me on Twitter at Robbie Faulk On3. You can follow me for high school coverage at Starkville Daily News at Robbie Faulk SDN. Check me out at maroonandwhitedaily.com. We'd love to have you over there and listen to us every day on Thunder and Lightning Podcast. Until next week, maybe we'll be talking about a big Mississippi State win. We'll see what happens. This has been Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk here on SuperTalk 100.9.
You've been listening to Talkin Dawgs with Robbie Faulk.
Mississippi State with a victory here.
Listen each Wednesday at 9 a.m. on SuperTalk 100.9.
Don't you know I'm gonna make it with my friends? I promised myself I'd get by. Said I'm gonna try it with them too.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.